we're not seeing enough people stand up and voice what they know to be true. And so for that, I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful that you have done that.
Well, thank you. And I'll just point out in the Omaha Council Bluffs area, there are 1 million people. Now, in Omaha proper, it may be like 750,000, but out of them, one doctor and two chiropractors stood up, went to the
Wow.
meeting. So
Wow.
and Dr. Tapper's been the lead on this, and I think this is a sad commentary on what's happening, that there's a
Mhm.
general top down. I heard it said that freedom has always gotten bottom up, but tyranny is top down. And that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
The medical establishment, it doesn't make sense what they're doing except as a control mechanism for all of us.
Right. Right. And you bring an interesting perspective because you served in the US Navy, correct?
Right. I did serve in the Navy 10 years, and I was, I spent, and that doesn't make me a military, strategy expert or anything,
Right.
but
Right.
I did have the opportunity of talking, and my ex was a Marine Corps colonel, and he was at the Pentagon for a number of years, and he was fairly high placed, and he ran a Marine Corps air group. So I was around senior level officers, and then after I
Mhm.
got out, he was still at the Pentagon. I took a position with the Navy Research Advisory Committee, which is a congressional committee, and by law they have to have a doctor on it.
I
So I was
see.
the physician, and one of the things, I researched a variety of topics and tried to make myself useful. There isn't a lot for the doctor to do on that usually, because before this era, it was mostly about submarines and underwater mines and what we do with these different positions. But one of the things I looked at, for example, was the usefulness of the hospital ships. Should we keep them? Should we not? Etc. And I also had, because I would run around and do some research around the area in Washington, D.C., I contacted people that were involved in the Gulf War syndrome and old colleagues of mine in the Navy. And I started looking at the issues of bioweapons just on my own, because
Right.
I really became very concerned about smallpox. And the reason that I know that masks have not been seen in the past as useful is because of smallpox. Um, we'd like
Why
to
were you
think they
what
could
was the
get some
concern
use.
with smallpox at
Well,
that point?
smallpox is the most deadly virus known to mankind, and more people died in the 20th century of smallpox than all the wars put together. We don't
Wow.
realize that because much of it happened outside of America.
Right.
But smallpox is highly transmissible. It's airborne. And I tell this story about the last case in Europe because if people want to understand how transmissible this disease is, it's the same, in my opinion. And they're trying to hide that fact. They try to convince you that these wearing a mask and washing your hands and disinfecting your environment matter. But the
Mhm.
CDC itself knows it does not, because they've done studies on other viruses as well as this. But they've done a study, for example, that just came out this year in May in their own journal showing that doesn't make a difference for influenza.